Good morning, guys. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this video from. My name is Dedan from Uganda, and my YouTube channel is Dedan Vlogs. I want to thank whoever comes to watch my videos. Thank you so much. I cannot take you for granted. You guys are the best, and thank you so much. We're actually growing. I love the fact that we are growing. The number is increasing, and maybe we shall get there over with time. Now, today I have a story that I want to talk to you about. The story comes from Kenya. I want you to listen to the story very correctly, very wisely. I want you to listen to this, and I want you to learn something from the story. Now, let me tell you something. Long time ago, in a small village deep in Kenya, there lived a woman named Nyako, and she was known for her kindness and hardworking spirit. She was the daughter of a respected elder and had been raised with wisdom and love. Now, her beauty was spoken of across villages, but beyond her beauty, she was wise, she was humble, and she was patient. Now, Nyako was married to a man named Otieno. Otieno was a hunter, and he was a farmer as well. So both their love was very strong, and their home was filled with warmth. Yet there was an emptiness that could not be ignored. Can I tell you something? Nyako had no child. And in the village, a woman's worth was often measured by her children. So meaning a woman who had no children was not respected in their culture. Now, year after year passed, and Nyako remained without a baby. The whispers grew louder. Women looked at her with pity. Men shook their heads in disappointment. Even Otieno, her husband, thought he loved her dearly, could not hide his sorrow. Nyako tried everything. She visited healers, made offerings to the spirits and church, and followed every piece of advice given to her. She drank special herb mixtures, the herbal mixtures, tied charms around her waist, and even spent nights sleeping under, sacred trees, hoping to receive a blessing. But the moons passed, and still Nyako remained barren. Her heart ached every time she saw children playing by the river. She longed to hold her baby in her arms, to hear, a small voice call her mother, call her mommy. She cried often, but she did so in secret, for she did not want to burden her husband with her pain. Now let me tell you something that happened. One evening, she walked deep into the forest, seeking solace. So she came upon a great bamboo tree, its roots stretching wide like the arms of an elder embracing the earth. She knelt before it and spoke to the spirits. All great ones, ancestors of my people, hear my cry. I have waited for many seasons. I have done all I can. If I'm meant to be childless, let my heart find peace. But if there is still hope, show me the way. Immediately the wind whispered through the trees, rustling the leaves as if the spirits were listening. Just then, a cold mist surrounded her. From the shadows, an old woman appeared, her eyes shining like stars in the night. Daughter, your cries have reached the spirits, the woman said in a voice that was both gentle and powerful. Go to the river at sunrise, drink from the first stream that flows, your prayers shall be answered. Now, Nyako's heart pounded. Could this be the answer she had been seeking for so many years? Without hesitation, she bowed to the old woman and whispered, "Thank you." At dawn, she walked to the river. The earth was cool beneath her feet, and the birds sang softly in the trees. She knelt by the water's edge, her reflection staring back at her. With trembling hands, she scooped up the fresh, cold water and drank deeply. Now, as she swallowed, a strange warmth spread through her body. She felt something stir within her, as if life itself had entered her womb. Now that night, she dreamed of a great snake, its golden scales shimmering in the moonlight, coiling gently around her home. Now months passed, and Nyako's belly grew. Now the villagers were astonished. After so many years, she was finally with a child. Some rejoiced, believing she had been blessed at last, but others were suspicious. They whispered among themselves, wondering what manner of child she carried. When the time came for Nyako to give birth, the village gathered outside her hut, waiting to hear the first cry of a newborn. But instead, a baby's wail, there was only silence. Then came a sound none had expected, a soft, slithering hiss of a snake. Now the midwives gasped in shock. Lying in Nyako's arms was not a human baby, but a snake. It was unlike any snake they had ever seen. Its body was smooth, and its eyes were large and knowing, as if it understood the world around it. Otieno, the husband to Nyako, stepped back in horror. What is this? A curse? A trick from the spirits? But Nyako gazed at the creature, and in its eyes, she saw something that no one else could. She saw love. She saw destiny. She wrapped the small snake in a cloth, held it close, and whispered, "You're my child. I will call you Acheng, for you were born when the sun shines." Now listen. The villagers did not accept Acheng, that snake. They avoided Nyako's home, whispering that she had brought misfortune upon them. Mothers pulled their children away when she passed by. The elders debated whether she should be cast out, but Nyako did not care. She loved her child deeply and raised him with all the warmth, of a mother's heart. Now, as years passed, Acheng grew. The other snake grew. Though he had no legs, he was faster than any child. Slithering gracefully through the village's path, he listened carefully to the elders, absorbing their wisdom. He spoke royally, but when he did, his words carried weight, as though he understood things beyond the reach of ordinary men. Now, listen. One day, a great drought struck the village. The rivers dried up, the crops withered, and the people grew desperate. The elders gathered and pointed fingers at Nyako and Acheng, the other snake. The gods are angry. No woman gives birth a snake. He's the reason for our suffering. We must get rid of him. That's how they cried. Now Nyako begged them not to harm her son, the other snake, but they would not listen. They gathered torches and spears, ready to drive him away. But before they could act, the sky darkened and thunder rumbled across the land. Acheng raised his head and spoke. "I'm not a curse. I have listened to the earth whispers. If you follow me, I will lead you to water." Now the villagers hesitated, but they had no choice. They followed Acheng into the hills, past dry river beds and cracked earth, and at last they reached an ancient stone buried in dust. Acheng lifted his golden head and struck the ground with his tail. A deep rumble filled the air. Then from the earth, water gushed forth in the mighty stream, rushing down into the village, filling the dry wells and feeding the crops. The people fell to their knees, weeping with joy. They had been wrong. Acheng was not a curse, he was a blessing. But listen, the story didn't end there. One night, as Nyako sat by the river's edge, Acheng came to her, the other snake came to her, and said, "Mother, I must go now. My spirit belongs to the river." Tears filled Nyako's eyes. "Must you leave me? You're my only child." Acheng lowered his head and said, "I'll never be gone. Whenever you hear the river song, know that I'm near. Whenever the waters flow, I'm with you." And with that, he slipped into the water, his golden scales vanishing beneath the waves. The villagers, having seen his power, built a shrine by the river to honor him. They no longer feared Nyako. Instead, they called her the mother of the river spirit. Now, it is said that on quiet nights, when the moon is full his golden scales can still be seen glistering beneath the water's surface. And if you listen closely, you can hear the river whisper his name, Achieng. Nyako lived the rest of her days near the water, always waiting, always listening. She told her story to her grandchildren, and they told it to theirs, and so forth. Generations. The tale of Nyako and the snake child was passed down. A story of love, a story of faith, and a lesson that sometimes our greatest blessings come in forms we least expect. Thank you so much, guys. In case you've enjoyed the video, kindly give it a like and go to the comment section. Tell me something about what you think about this story. My name is Dedan. Let's meet on the next video.